Good morning. It's November 12th, 2022. My name is Barbara With, and you are here with me and the Party of 12, a rather creative and ambitious group of souls who are working in the afterlife for world peace and working with us, helping us birth this new humanity. And today we are going to be looking at 1111. It's a portal, a very traditional portal, but it seems like there's a very powerful position that this portal is in. And because I am not an astrologer, or a numerologist, but I do have a very favorite astrologer that I listen to, and I'm going to share her views on what this particular 1111 portal is about. So thank you for coming, and we're going to be heading on over and talk to the psychic sorority. So welcome to the party. Yesterday was 11/11, and being that I'm not an astrologist or a numerologist, and I'm not in touch with my usual astrologist, I reached out to a podcast that my friend Rebecca turned me on to, that I look to often and I recommend highly. And when I went to her, she had a brand new one just all about this. And so I decided to share, because she is an astrologer and many other things. And her podcast is called Stars, Stones, and Stories, Ancient, Future, Myth, and Astrology. What I really liked about this, among other things, is how much it affirms what we have been doing and what we've been directed to do as well. It's very affirming. And just a little bit about who this is. Her name is Rama. She describes herself as weaving ancient future wisdom as we birth the new earth. Astrology, cosmology, living mythology, earth-based spirituality, and ancestral healing. She describes herself as a southern sanctuary to expand and deepen your wisdom as a cosmic priestess. She specializes in astrology, divination, sacred site activation, and priestess arts for the Aquarian age. So this is who she is. I've been listening to her for several years now, and her website is EARTHSEEDTEMPLEARTS.com, Earthseed Temple Arts. Rama says that this is an opportunity to remember our access to ancestral realms, to the angelic realms, and to the starseed realms. Recognize it here and now, and to intentionally call upon them during this time. Community is your opportunity to claim your story, your unique identity and power, knowing that you are the hero of your own journey. You are a hologram for the collective, and you matter. The world needs your gifts and creativity now more than ever. So we need to crystallize your medicine. The 1111 portal opens the possibility for great phenomenon to be experienced. Miracle consciousness abounds. You have the ability to realize your limitless potential. 1111 aligns on Friday, yesterday. So this is an opportunity to really reflect back on where you are feeling most conscious in your life, where you are feeling the urge to transform, to renew, and regenerate. And when I read that, I thought about what we were saying last week about going back to all those modalities that we've learned through our lives and calling upon them once again to use them and to become more conscious. We have this urge to transform. We are being asked to consider the lessons we've experienced that began back in December of 2020, right before the winter solstice. So there's something coming to light right now with this portal. Even though this opening of the portal happens every November 11th because this one was wrapped up in the eclipse season. There were lunar eclipses, there were solar eclipses, and you can get all that details from her. I'm not an eclipse person, but what she's saying is that when this portal opened up, because of that the numbers were amplified. They doubled and then they quadrupled, and one representing the unity of consciousness. So unification of consciousness has been amplifying through this portal, which is something else we've been experiencing consciously. So we're on this journey to experience the duality of the planet in order to understand the truth that there is no separation from consciousness, from source consciousness. There is no separation from source consciousness. Yes, we are the source consciousness. We are God, goddess, sources everywhere. Yes, even in the darkest, most decaying, decrepit places on earth. We lift the veil of illusions to shed a light into something beyond the moment, beyond suffering. Illusions can melt away on 11/11. Subtle, profound portals open up, and we receive light codes from our star brethren, the Pleiadians, the seven sisters, who are apparently very beneficial beings who are assisting us in this conscious evolution. So apparently they're part of the party. Number one represents unity and oneness, independence, identity, confidence, tapping into our inner wisdom, intuition, our ability to manifest, to know that our thoughts create more things the more that we devote our sacred attention to them. That then becomes our intention. The more we are co-creating our reality, we have this ability to harness the different astrological trends, transits, transitions, and transformations, and use them for our benefit to expand our consciousness. This number one helps us to shape our reality, to be motivated, to have a deeper awareness, a number of great creativity. 11/11 also allows us to be fearless in all of our ventures, a number of liberties that connect to a knowledge of how to co-create with the stars, to harness the power of the stars. So we have this ability to achieve supernatural intuition and deepen our spiritual connections to experience rapid manifestation. We have an opportunity to remember our access to the ancestral realms, the angelic realms, and the starseed realms. We have the ability to receive these light codes that will assist us in our evolution, and like a domino effect, a ripple effect will elevate all of humanity. We can be of the greatest service to Earth in these times by doing great diligence to our own inner work within our own inner temple of light. Resurrect other parts of self from other timelines that carry great wisdom. They wish to assist you in this timeline so you may continue to evolve to the highest frequency. This is a part of stewarding the new Earth consciousness. So Mars in retrograde in Gemini is working diligently to help you clear out all these old subconscious patterns and blocks that are no longer serving you. The entrepreneur in you embraces the future, literally embraces the unknown, being willing to work hard, to be curious, to continue to educate yourself, to be respectful, to stay positive and focused on what you're building. To believe your life is sacred is to harness this entrepreneurial spirit. Although we cannot control the experiences that come to us or the people around us or how they choose to behave, we have a great choice to meet and to respond to any given situation how we desire. This is our greatest power, to rise above the collective mindset and create a new path forward. The Saturday, today, the 12th, Mercury trines Neptune. Don't ask me, but somebody knows. Helping you harness your spiritual potential. There's a profound week ahead on Monday, apparently. The sun trines Neptune. So Neptunian influences with Neptune and Pisces can have our judgment clouded when we're stuck in patterns. It's a beautiful day to meditate and nourish our hearts and be little children. Apparently on Tuesday, Venus trines Neptune. What we love and what we value wishes to become more spiritually aligned and connected to our source consciousness. What we love and what we value wishes to become more aligned to compassion. And Wednesday, the moon is in Leo. The last quarter moon phase is a beautiful time to reflect back on what we've journeyed through, what we've experienced and witnesses, and what we've learned, and what we want to dissolve and let go of. And then Thursday, November 17th, Mercury shifts into Sagittarius, the archer, the seeker of adventure. The philosopher Sagittarius wishes to infuse Venus and Mercury, our love and our values, and how we think and communicate and how we speak into a realm of greater passion and creative expansion, and to really continue to journey with the star lines of miracles. So that was Rama's take on 11/11, and it's just was so exciting to feel so aligned to that. Like we say it in different ways, but it's just everything that we say to ourselves. And
it is a very special 11/11 because it's 22. So 11/11 22. So it's the numbers are very special too. I'm sure you saw that too.
yes, because 11/11 22 or 2022 is a 1. And then today is an 11.
Yeah, the word out there is that this portal is very exciting, very beneficial. Yeah.
Oh, do tell. No, I was just reading something that I don't know anything about it. So anything you want to share?
Okay. Well, I just listened this morning to a channel that I'm watching locally. And she's on Facebook, and they're called the Lotus Crew. They were likening this time for those of us who are doing our own work, paying attention, not engaging as much as we can, which they support us in that, in all the drama. And they likened it to an amusement park. It was really a cool metaphor in that if you imagine that you go to an amusement park and some of the rides subject you to fear and scary things and all of that, but you have gone to an amusement park. You're there for the ride, but you come away without taking it with you. And they suggest that that's how we ought to see the rest of November in this portal. And then there was a lot of promise about December, and that on the other side of this portal, December is going to be a sacred month. And there will be a energetic shifted was the word they used, have shifted in a very positive way for each of us as we head into the sacred time of December.
The other thing that I liked about this Rama piece was the reminder to connect to the ancestors, connect to the star seeds, connect to the unseen, which might as well say connect to nature, because that's that unseen world a lot.
Yeah, that concurs. Yeah, that's wonderful. I was excited when I saw your 11/11 focus for today. Thank you.
If anybody doesn't mind, I wouldn't mind to just go into the channel, open the portal on the the day we're supposed to be opening the portal. So let's do this. All right, let's settle into this portal. This 11/11. 11, 12. And feel ourselves as our illusions disappear. Let's imagine that we're in that clarity together, that we're in the source together. Go down into that place. Looks like the Matrix. Just a white plane as far as you can see. Except for you in your circle. So those of you who are on this call, those of you who are listening afterwards, you're in a circle of souls. And the illusion that's being taken away in this time of 11/11 is that there is any separation whatsoever from the source. That truth just is, but it's in your intellect that the illusion begins and then is transformed. So this is a time for you to really conscientiously work on mastering intellect. This is a time where we're normally not in this kind of portal, in this kind of mathematical equation. It would be harder to break through the illusions. You would be more prone to thinking that you couldn't do something, or that you weren't good enough, or that you couldn't heal this, or projecting onto your future something that isn't for the good of the whole. This winnowing away the illusions of the intellect creates this open portal. And now you also happen to have these other energies all in this very incredible alignment. And not just today aligned, but having come from and on its way to this incredible transformation. It's like you're on a bullet train. The transformation is unstoppable, and it begins in you. And that should be the good news. That should be the good news for all of you. That this begins here with you, that you do have this power, that you can learn to master these things and thereby have a profound effect upon the manifestation of what takes place on the planet. And we've been telling you for a bit this year in terms of scale, I've been telling you a bit this year to be continually aware of possibilities that you may not ever think of or see. You may not know what's going on behind the scenes somewhere. You have absolutely no idea all the influences on you yourself, much less the whole entire world. The more that you use your vessel for a framework that creates the good of the whole, then the projection that you're doing is of the synergy. You earn the right to experiment with the manifestation of creation when you work for the good of the whole. Those who don't work for the good of the whole reap those rewards. But you who are working for the good of the whole not only reap those rewards of the whole, but you gain a power of self, an independence. You gain a unification that is so important in this time of transition. When we say the world needs you, this is what's so important. So today on this 11 day, the power is breathtaking. If you can get out of your head and just be in the I am of this energy and superimpose your superconscious thinking like a cap, like a dome over your intellect, the superconscious comes descending down from the heavens. What the superconscious part of the intellect does is it quiets down a great deal of the human thinking, not even just replacing lower vibrational thought with higher vibrational thought, but just reducing the fluctuation. Imagine knowing that your intellect is located in your brain here, and there's a superconscious, a human range, and a subatomic part of it that function in different ways, but with each other. Bring that superconscious thinking in while you're feeling all that range of emotion. Really, it's a physiological shift. It is an intellectual shift, but it's really done mostly in a breath work having to do with the body. That change that you're looking to put into the human species in order for it to continue to evolve is that part of you that takes that breath intentionally. The superconscious thought follows the subatomic intuitive impelling, not the other way around. The mind doesn't tell you what to do. The intuition is the overarching intuitive impelling that then guides the thoughts to the superconscious to align to compassion. In this particular week, we want you all to pay attention. And we tell you that all the time. So in some way, that's not any different. We feel like the more that we all come together, those of us without the bodies, those of you with the bodies, and that growing consciousness that you have of being in the source and the clarity together down in that white plane of the matrix before thought, feeling, and senses separate in the oneness. And the miracles of this synergy of compassion, no bounds. We've said that before. We understand that. We're repeating ourselves, but we're trying to display to you our incredible excitement for what's happening right now with humans. It may not look that way because the whole world isn't this way yet. We bring you this other information from all sources, as we've said. There are millions and millions and millions of people who are doing the same thing that we are doing here with you. And together you're connected, whether you even know you're out there or not. And now you've heard a whole nother world of stars, stones, and stories that reiterates. You've heard kitchen table channeling, people picking up their gifts of prophecy and exercising them and finding the same message. And so our work is how to make you the most powerful person you can be, how to inspire you to be the person that works for the good of the whole, how to instruct you, how to implore you, and how to inspire you every day when the going gets rough. When you're moving about in the week ahead, and then you're going to be going into this whole end of the year shift, we feel you would best take that opportunity for that particular alignment of the planets and the energy and the focus of this birth, and to keep your eye on that birth, keep your eye on that forward motion, because we were never here to predict your future. We were here to help you vision and manifest it for yourself, to teach you that, 2 different skill sets. Now is the time when you're taking your power into your hands, where you're going to tell us what's going to happen. You're going to be the ones that tell us what's going to happen for you, because the shift of energy between those in those angelic realms, those in afterlife, and those of you still with your bodies dedicated to this communication. So there's an equality here, even though you have the bodies. You are busy having a physical experience, which takes up a lot of energy, unlike those in the starseed realm and the spirit realm and afterlife have no bodies. There is not that expenditure and that need and the focus, and consequently not the physical world as you're experiencing it. And that's okay. It's a revolving door, so to speak. No one's barred from reincarnating. As we're all coming together in this unity of both those with bodies and those without, this work is so important. It's groundbreaking. Anytime that someone can help others learn that they are their own prophet, you are your own authority. And once you lock into that sacredness of the part of you that's compassion for the good of the whole that's yours, the manifestations begin to take place. And you're feeling that. You are feeling this shift of people really, truly shifting to wake up out of that lethargy. You've seen small changes in yourself, but in culture around you as well. And you're going to keep seeing those things and keep looking for them. Keep looking for those new inventions. Keep looking for those people behind the scenes. Keep looking for the out of the way, off culture brands and voices. And there's millions and millions and millions of voices. And how are you going to tune into what voice? What are you going to do with that? If suddenly you have a detachment from the physical world and the struggles and the suffering, and it becomes something more like you're watching a soap opera that you can't control. You can't control a television show sitting at home in your living room any more than you can control world leaders. Then when the show is over, you turn off the TV and you go outside. Nothing's really changed. And in this portal, you have this opportunity to reach back, to recognize, to integrate, as we said before, that childlike part of yourself, to have a lead role in guiding the system that you are. You must know people all over the world are doing this right now, today, with us here. It's not a party of 12. It's a party of infinity. Sooner or later, all are unified. Sooner or later, Jesus and Hitler come together and are unified in a unified field. And it's done through each individual life using its free will over and over and over again in order to learn. And now here you are. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, the beautiful part is that when you're working on, focused on the way that your system operates, instead of what is going to be the details of the manifestation, you dissolve that illusion of separation and you become this vessel for the greatest good. And that's the miracles. That becomes the evolution of the human species into creatures who not just can, but will manifest miracles for the good of the whole. What a glorious thriving this is. Imagine a world in this unified field, in this portal-like existence where each individual takes such good care of themselves and is so guided by intuition that they make decisions that save other people hassles, as well as guiding their own lives. think of the creativity expansion, the things that people would be inventing, the art that would be created, the new art forms that are going to be created that you don't even know exist right now. This is the expanse that you're on. It's through the embedding of the unified field, which is compassion as the fifth fundamental force of the universe. Then you've accomplished your mission. And the sky is the limit. It's a wonderland of creativity to come and go again. So make the very most of it. Even if it feels like it's suffering, that too will pass. That too will pass. Are there any questions? Are there any questions or conversations anyone would like to have?
I would like to ask something.
Yes.
If I understood you right, so if we focus on ourselves mostly and not being distracted by the outer things and the outer distractions, then we will be the vessel to be filled with what we wish. Is that what you were saying?
Well, to be filled with what you wish in terms of how are you going to live your life? Because life is always going to be uncontrollable in many ways. You can't control what people are going to say to you. You can't control what can come your way in a day. You can focus yourself with that intention on what you wish to create, but ultimately, we feel like what humans are looking for is that inner peace. It's that inner peace, not that outer manifestation. And from that inner peace comes the manifestation that's just right.
Okay. So it's not the intention or the focus on the manifestation, it's more the relaxing into it.
Well, yes, and let's take you as an example, if we can, is that you have found yourself in a situation where if you allowed yourself, you could your energy could get sucked into a level of interaction of humans that would be exhausting and make you angry, and has in the past.
Yes.
But when you found inner peace, it's not that that's now suddenly your end all and be all. It's that you have the capacity now to really be guided into the answer to that question, which is, what do you want to create?
Yeah.
Because you know, at any time, you have the resources to create something much different than what you're doing.
Yes.
And so you don't have to worry that that's not there. And that gives you this lighterness and understanding what's really important. And we say, ultimately, you don't want to tell humans that's really all they want, because there's all this striving to accomplish and over trying, right? That goes on. But to say what you really want to manifest is peace for yourself and for the world. How does that look? What does that mean to you personally, having peace? And you're finding it. That's the beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was clarifying. Thank you.
I have had a wonderful week energetically. And as I listen to your message and think about letting go and understanding or being reinforced that there's bigger things at play in my world, and that peace, the more peace I can hold for myself, within myself, and in all my interactions, that I am contributing on a foundational level to the betterment of the world and the field and so on. But I get to a place when I have a week like this where I start to second guess and distrust myself. I would like to know what thoughts you have for me on that. Thank you.
Well, we would say to look at it like a wave, not an analysis of some intellectual story, like why do you do this or what happens now. Look at it like a wave. That mistrust is natural. It's a pattern that you've had your whole life that's been so greatly diminished. It's beyond understanding sometimes how much you have gained a mastery over things. Every experience will be exactly what you yourself are creating for yourself in order to teach you the very things that you yourself came here to learn. It's hard for the human mind. It's harder for the ego. The ego wants to know. The ego wants to compartmentalize. New humans feel and breathe. The new humanity is all about breathing and moving energy and not attaching judgments or stories to those energies and being in that peace and that unity.
Thank you.
I do appreciate this communication with the party. Thank you for all your inspiration. I want to say I had a visualization of well, when we think about when I think about a portal, I kind of have this toroidal like black hole thing spinning in my mind, and then that toroidal field, I was feeling it within me as if I was a part of the infinity and the unity. So I felt inspired by that. That's kind of like my centeredness now too, finding my centers.
Yes, that's a unity. It's a unity of self. That's so much what we're striving to do. We're striving to help bring this focus to something other than just the lens there. That's why in answer to the previous question as well of why it's a wave, why you're in perfect alignment, and then you can slip out of alignment and come back into alignment. And it's the polarity and the duality, the nature of it. But just because you're doing that polarity doesn't mean you're not unified. Just because you're feeling the duality doesn't mean you're not unified. You are a unified field.
Jojo here. I sent around Gabriel's overview of 2023, a year of magnifying our commitments, to the group here. I found that to be an excellent description of what you talk about, we talk about all the time, feeling all of our feelings, the value and the purpose of that we're moving from the 3D dualistic world of either or, good, bad, right, wrong, to a world of polarity, which is a way of looking at things as just on a scale, like there are poles, but they're all part of a whole. So we're unifying that way. And I can remember years ago taking, going to lectures in the macrobiotic camps, and one of my teachers saying, health and illness are just two sides of the same coin. They're just part of the whole. It's not either or, you're this or you're that. You're both. You have it all. And you go through these phases and these waves, like you said. So yeah, I was interested to hear you use the word polarity, because that they were saying in the Gabriel work, we're moving from duality to a polarity understanding of a unity.
Yes, well said. And of course, when you look at our maps, you see the poles exist as a part of the operating system. They're needed to create human life. So it isn't as if there's something that needs healing, but the duality is more of the separatism.
Yes, and that we create that by judgment and resistance and defining things as good or bad. And as Einstein used to say, you can't resolve problems from the same place where you created them. So you have to move out of that thinking. I was with a group of friends the other day, and this was the group that always meditated together, and so seemingly was on the path. And one of them was really being very critical of someone. And I was across the table and I said, "That's a little bit judgy." And she said, "Yes," like it was a good thing. And I thought, okay, so we're not thinking the same way here.
Yes, because people think that judgments protect them.
Yes, I guess so.
If your ego's in charge, then it is protecting the ego, because the ego is
Yeah.
projecting something. When you do the revolution, then the ego projects onto self, but at least that brings the action back into the arena where the control exists in order to be able to transform it.
Yes, and this guy that channels Gabriel Ron Baker, he uses a visual of a mirror, like you're looking in a mirror, and whatever you're doing, whatever you're seeing in the mirror, that's what's happening to you. Like it's right back at you. It's your reflection. So whether someone else is reflecting for you, which is what often happens, and we revolve it back to us. So all the same stuff. I love it when my different sources use the same terminology even, and he's using for the good of the whole all the time. This more.
Yes, and these conversations are coming up more for everyone's benefit, because every time you can find another source that's reiterating what we're saying, you and vice versa, the other people who hear the other things that are reiterating what they're saying. So it's a beautiful way to connect. And again, over and over we say, because you're working for the good of all, this is a compassion. Compassion impels you to create compilations, spherical electromagnetic domains that are going to be the root of where you start. And compassion then aligns those compilations to true north of the planet so that you're all on the same map. But compassion, the third part of compassion, is that it brings you this awareness that you are one in the whole. When you're tapped in and working for the good of the whole, truly starting with yourself, you have access to the synergy. That's where the miracles then are born.
Yes, and the Pleiadian reference was neat because I have long followed the Pleiadian Council through Lauren Gorgo and Think With Your Heart site, and saying the toroidal field, the connection to source, so connected that that's going to be our source energy. We won't need any external energy. We won't need to eat. We just need to breathe a certain way or whatever. And there was a great video years ago I watched when I was doing her coursework of a couple that were breatharians. That was news to me. That was the first time I'd heard of anyone, but it was so amazing. Like a young couple just breathed and had a baby. She didn't eat, like it was beyond, like miraculous, like beyond, so beyond the norm that it stayed with me. Yeah, I sat for about 20 minutes at 5 a.m. and watched the eclipse of the moon, the full moon being eclipsed, total lunar eclipse, like 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning, I think it was. All bundled up on my deck, and a cat wondering what I was doing. But yeah, it's neat to watch the stars of the moon.
Yes, and it's an exciting time to be human. This is an exciting time to have this kind of connection, and to have the kinds of connection with just knowing there's people all over the world who have this connection. And you know what it's done for you. You know what compassion has changed all of your lives. It is a time of a great reckoning and awakening. If you are a good person and you are dedicated to the good of the whole, there is nothing to worry about.
Yes, thank you.
we're going to close the channel just by wishing you so much unification. We are sending you so much gratitude, love, joy, celebration, excitement, our loyalty, our passion, our vision, our honor and articulation, and of course, our compassion. And we thank you because you have enlivened the party today. The celebration will go on long after you leave. So just don't forget, just watch and be amazed. Namaste.